Put your hands behind your back, barked Hank, puffing out his chest like he was guarding the stage at a rock concert. Except this wasn't a concert, and Hank definitely wasn't security. He was just a middle-aged man in khaki cargo shorts, mirrored aviators, and a knockoff badge from a website that probably also sold novelty socks. The badge read, HOA Enforcement Officer. My 14-year-old nephew, Tyler, blinked at him, skateboard still spinning at his feet on the driveway. Are you serious? Tyler asked, half laughing, half confused. Serious as a heart attack, Hank replied, whipping out a pair of plastic zip-tie cuffs like he was starring in a direct-to-streaming cop drama. Before I could even cross the yard, Hank had already zip-tied my nephew's hands behind his back, right there on our own property, claiming Tyler was in violation of HOA noise protocol. That's when I called my sister. She didn't pick up immediately because she was stepping off a helicopter after wrapping up a multi-state FBI operation. For minutes later, she returned my call. Her voice was calm. I'll be there in 5. And she was. Still in her tactical field uniform, badge clipped to her belt, eyes sharp. She stepped out of the SUV, took one look at her son zip-tied on the ground, and a grown man playing dress-up in authority, and all hell broke loose. Earlier that day had started like any other lazy Saturday. I was visiting my sister Naomi and her son Tyler for a quiet weekend. Movies, pizza, maybe some mini-golf. Tyler's a laid-back, sharp-witted kid who had just gotten a new skateboard. He was out front, practicing tricks in the driveway. He fell, laughed, and tried again. No music, no cursing, no crowd. Just a kid being a kid. Then came the whir of cheap electric wheels. A golf cart rounded the cul-de-sac like a roving patrol car in a gated community war zone. It screeched to a stop halfway onto the sidewalk. Out stepped Hank. Imagine a man with military boots under dad's shorts, a tucked-in polo shirt with a stitched patch that read Community Integrity Unit, and an earpiece not even plugged in. That was Hank. He pointed a finger. State your name, he demanded. Tyler squinted at him. Excuse me. Name. Address. HOA ID, if you have it. You're in violation of community noise ordinances and possibly damaging property. This is your official warning. I stepped outside, holding a slice of pizza. Hey, he's just skating on our driveway. Chill out, man. Hank turned to me like I'd kicked over his sandcastle. Sir, I am conducting an HOA enforcement action. Do not interfere. You're not a cop, I replied. I'm HOA certified, he snapped. We have protocols. Then, without warning, he grabbed Tyler by the wrist and zip-tied his hands behind his back. Tyler, I yelled, dropping the pizza. What the hell are you doing? I shouted. Detainment under Clause 8.3 of the HOA Code. Failure to comply with designated authority, Hank declared. I actually laughed. You're kidding, right? Hank didn't laugh. You're lucky I don't cite you for obstruction. I grabbed my phone and called Naomi. Explained in about 6 seconds that some HOA clown had zip-tied her son. She said, I'm on my way. Voice cold enough to frost glass. Meanwhile, a small crowd had gathered. Neighbors filmed on their phones. A kid biking past shouted, Worldstar. Tyler sat on the driveway, wrist bound, more annoyed than scared. This is illegal, he said. My mom's literally FBI. Sure she is, Hank scoffed, pacing like a sentry. They all say that when they get caught. Caught doing what? I shouted. Hank ignored me. Just waiting for the real authorities. We'll see how funny this is then. Spoiler, he never called anyone. Because he knew. He knew he had no real authority. No badge. No training. No clue. 5 minutes later, a black SUV with government plates rolled into the cul-de-sac like a slow rolling storm. No lights, no sirens. Naomi stepped out like a thunderclap. She didn't shout. She didn't run. She just walked straight up to Hank. Let him go, she said, calm as a sniper. And you are? Hank asked, puffing his chest. Naomi pulled her badge and held it 2 inches from his nose. Special Agent Naomi Rivers, FBI. That was the moment Hank cracked. His lips moved, but nothing came out. Your badge is real, he stammered. Unlike yours, she replied, snapping a photo of his plastic Walmart special. You just committed unlawful detainment of a minor, impersonated law enforcement, and violated multiple federal codes. I hope you have a lawyer. Hank bent down to remove the zip ties, fumbling like his hands had gone numb. Too late, Naomi said, lifting her phone. Local PD's already on route. You might want to stay put. By the time the cops showed up, Hank looked like a man waking from a very stupid dream. 2 officers, young but sharp, took one look at the zip ties, the crowd, Naomi's badge, and didn't need much else. They separated Hank, took his ID, and noted the badge with an eagle holding a mailbox. Yes, really. He tried to explain. HOA Special Response Team, he said. Community safety duties, he claimed. Does this HOA have a special response team? One officer asked. Naomi folded her arms. Only if they're recruiting mall cops from clearance racks. Tyler, meanwhile, was sitting in the back of our SUV, sipping a juice box. Cool as a cucumber. Hank was escorted to his golf cart. Naomi turned to me. I was already working. She wasn't done. That night, she combed the neighborhood forum. Dozens of posts. Mysterious citations. Moved trash cans. Fake warnings. A pattern emerged. Hank only targeted certain families. Newcomers. Those who questioned HOA decisions. Naomi called a friend in law enforcement. Within an hour, confirmation, the HOA had no authorized enforcement officers. No patrols. No permission for zip ties. Hank had zero authority. We kept digging. Turns out Hank wasn't even on the HOA board. Never was. Just a name on a lease. So why had no one stopped him? A message appeared on the app from user Clover78. He's not acting alone. Ask about the handshake agreement. That next morning, Naomi went to the HOA office, a dingy room that looked like a DMV reject. She asked to see the president. 10 minutes later, out waddled Todd, 10 as a beach ball. Agent Rivers, he said. What brings the FBI to our neighborhood? Ronald Harris, Naomi replied. He's just enthusiastic, Todd offered. He zip-tied a minor. Smile gone. Todd fumbled. The board never authorized it. But you didn't stop it either. Back home, Naomi opened a case file. Neighbors sent video. Photos. Stories. One found a motion tracker in a fake rock. Another found a blinking light in a birdhouse. A small FBI cyber team came that night. 8 hidden cameras. Data logs. All routed to a hard drive in Hank's garage. A wall of printed maps. License plates. Photos. Folders labeled with last names. One read, Rivers family, priority. Naomi exhaled. He's building a surveillance dossier. News spread. Photos of the FBI then went viral. Reddit threads exploded. Other towns chimed in. We have a Hank too. Hank was arrested. Charged, impersonation, illegal detainment, unlawful surveillance. But it didn't stop with him. Naomi turned her sights on the board. Turns out the treasurer, Deborah Lane, had been quietly enabling him. Signing off on false violation notices. Approving fake budgets. Naomi hosted a neighborhood meeting. Projector. Slides. A corkboard of fake citations. Tyler and his friends made memes. The crowd laughed. Then listened. Naomi laid it out. The fake badges. The cameras. The silence. By the end, they weren't neighbors. They were a movement. The HOA board crumbled. Petitions. Resignations. Deborah was arrested 3 days later. Emails proved she greenlit Hank's surveillance. He scares the troublemakers, one email read. Ron was sentenced to 6 years. Deborah got 18 months. Todd cut a deal, banned from any future board. The HOA was dissolved, pending restructure. Tyler became a local legend. Kids asked for selfies. He even did a PSA video with Naomi. Know your rights, when authority isn't real. Naomi kept things quiet. Declined interviews. But she wasn't done. A letter came. From the Bureau. A new position. Director of Community Oversight Integrity. Thought I was done with this circus, she muttered. But she accepted. Her training guide started with, if a guy in khakis and a fake badge tells you to kneel, ask to see a real one. Ron never appealed. His house was sold. His golf cart auctioned for charity. The kids renamed it. Officer Book him. On the 1-year anniversary, the neighborhood threw a party. Dunk tank, bounce house, a cardboard cutout of Ron. Tyler hit the bullseye 3 times. The street felt new. Real. Healed. Think it'll stay this way? I asked Naomi. She didn't hesitate. Only if we make sure it does. Then she raised her lemonade and said, and if anyone shows up with a fake badge again, I'm bringing the real zip ties. And just like that, the story that began with a skateboard and a delusional man ended with a community finally learning what it meant to be one.